Hello, my loves. Michelle here for another training bundle. This one is for my business coaches. What is a business coach? I have a definition for business coaching that may be helpful to you. And that is if you are a coach that contributes to the financial bottom line of your client, then you are a business coach. Now, you can be a money mindset coach because, of course, that is going to help people get better with their money, attract more money in their business. So that is not traditionally, I guess, a business coach, but you're contributing to the bottom line. If you are somebody that is a specialist coach, so for example, you might be a salon coach or something like that, then you are responsible for delivering the results that your clients are coming to you for. So business coaching, you get to decide, are you contributing to the bottom line, the financial bottom line of the business that you're working with? All right. If you are, then you can consider yourself a business coach. I mean, I don't make the rules, but, I've been doing this a long time and that just helps get really clear, right? That helps us to get really clear. So when coaches come to business coaches, what they expect is an ROI, a financial return on investment. They want to know that when they invest in you, to solve a problem that they can't solve on their own, that you are going to produce a result. Now, there are so many people in the coaching space that are promising that they are going to deliver big results and they don't. There are a lot of business coaches out there that aren't really clear on what it is that they are doing. Like they feel like they can do a lot of things really well, but they're not specialists in what they do. And so if you've got a business coaching business and you're having a hard time pulling it all together or working with clients that are a really good fit for you, or you're having a hard time delivering results, then this video is going to be for you because I'm going to make your life a whole lot easier right now, I promise. So if we know that a client is going to come to you because they expect a result, right? That means that you are accepting the responsibility of somebody handing over their credit card to you and expecting something back in return, right? Because otherwise, what's the point? And I've been in this game a long time, and there are many coaches out there who will say, my client didn't get a financial return on investment, but she grew. And that's fine and dandy. But I put stock in financial ROI because for me, if you're getting your clients a financial result, then that tells me you know how to do your job. You're doing your job, you're delivering on promise. We can't move the goalposts, all right? We can't say, I'm a business coach and I'm going to help you be successful if you've got no proof of being able to do that, if you don't have a way to produce that result. If you're not producing that result, you must be producing the result. And I'll get to the how in a minute, because maybe you're new to this and you're like, well, I haven't been able to coach people yet because I'm new and I don't have any clients yet. We'll get to that. But here's a couple of things that I want you to really seriously consider implementing, changing, or thinking about in your business. So the first thing is, as a business coach, I want you to consider solving one problem. I know we can do many things. I know we're super smart, but it's very messy for the consumer to try to figure out what you do if you're not really clear about the problem that you're solving. All right. So I want you to consider, what is the problem that you are solving in this space, in your space? And I guess, who are you solving the problem for is another thing. But if you're really clear about the problem you're solving in the market, you'll know that anyway. But this is the question I want you to ask yourself. What is the single problem that I'm solving in my market, or that I can solve in my market effortlessly? With one hand tied behind my back, I know I can produce this result. Then I want you to ask yourself, is that the problem you're actually solving? Or are you trying to make it fancier? I'm going to share a story. I have a friend of mine who is a mindset coach, and she keeps stumbling into, so she's a mindset coach, and then she kept thinking, I need to niche down into mindset coach for entrepreneurs because then it's clearer. And then she's like, well, now I need to talk about business. And she didn't, right? And so what happened was I had a conversation with her a couple of days ago, and I said to her, okay, this is what the expectation is of a business coach. And I told her, it's like, if you're not prepared to know that, you're going to have to work, you're going to have strategy for the people that you're working with, and you're going to have individual strategies because there's no one size fits all. So unless you're prepared to say, when you say, I'm going to help you scale your business, then you need to know, you need to have a framework or a methodology for doing that. And you also need to be prepared to make that bespoke for each person that you come into contact with, because everybody's different. And she's like, no, I just want to work on the mindset piece. And I'm like, well, you're a mindset coach. You're not a business coach in terms of putting business coach on the Instagram profile or whatever. And she found that very, very helpful. And she said, I can definitely do that because I've built a successful business, but that's not what I want to do. I don't want to have the expectation of that. Thank you for making that clear. And I don't think it's made clear enough, right? If you're not good at business, if you don't know how to grow and scale a business, if you haven't done that yet, if you haven't coached somebody to do that yet, then that's not what you should be talking about. And the reason for that is we want to make sure that when we are putting our offers out into the world, that we stand fully behind them. We're fully convicted that we know we can deliver a result because we've done it. And too many people feel like my friend, she felt like it had to be fancier. It needed more in order to be compelling, to be a compelling offer. But then I listed off a whole bunch of other coaches that are purely mindset coaches. And she was like, oh yeah, I don't need to do that. So you have to trust what you're doing is enough, right? So say you are a business coach for, I don't know, let's just say you're a salon coach, right? You are a beauty salon coach. You've had a very successful beauty salon. You know how to make that successful. So you now go on and coach people how to do that. You've got runs on the board. You already know how to do that, right? And so the problem that you're going to solve is going to be, well, I help struggling salon owners turn 30% more profit, 50% more profit, whatever it is, right? Or maybe it's not about profit, but maybe it's about staff retention, because we know there's a high turnover in that industry. So maybe you're coaching them around staff retention, which will improve the bottom line, right? Whatever it is. But if you're that person that is the coach that will help them, your sweet spot is helping them to build a team and retain that team so that there's consistency, right? We all know if you find the best hairdresser in the world and then you go there and it's like, oh, they're gone, they've moved on. And then you go back again and then it's like, oh no, they've gone too. So you're on to the next one. Like as a consumer, that just like, you just want to go somewhere else, right? Because there's no consistency there and we're looking for that. And so maybe as a business coach, you decide, I'm going to work, my sweet spot is helping salon owners develop teams and retain teams because I know that impacts the bottom line. Amazing, right? So then you think, oh, but you know what? They need social media as well. So I need to tell them that I'm a good social media coach as well as that. Or I'm going to show them how to do whatever, right? Like you start to add things that aren't your sweet spot because you feel like it's not enough, right? But it is enough. If you're insert whatever it is that your specialty is, right? But ask yourself, if my hair drives me crazy, if you are somebody who is in a salon and they have massive staff turnover and it's stressful, it impacts the bottom line because customer loyalty is disrupted, right? So there's all of these things that happen. So if you then decide, I'm going to go all in on showing them how to do this. And you're that person that's struggling. If somebody came along and said to you, you know what, my big promise is that within 6 months, you are going to have a watertight team, the team, your core team that will never want to leave. And they're excited about coming to work every day. They are innovative. They show a lot of initiative and they want to stay. I'm going to show you how to do that. How excited would you be about that? Because one of the things that you can do in your business is retain that staff, and you know it's going to impact the bottom line. So that's a big enough promise, right? And it's very specific. So if your main problem as a salon owner is, oh, you know, I just can't keep staff, like the money's coming in and everything else is doing okay, but this one thing is a massive pain point for you. You're going to be searching on the internet, right? And you're going to be like, I need a salon, I need a coach, I need a salon coach. And the salon coach is listing out, I can help you do social media, and I can help you do this, and I can help you do that, and I can help you and I'll give you a set of steak knives. That's like you've overshot the runway, right? It's too confusing. But if they stumble upon a coach that is like the salon staff retention coach, for example, then you're going to be the one. They're going to choose you. And we know that this is a problem in this industry. So it's a massive niche. That's a huge niche. People should be going into that niche if they haven't already. And if you are a business coach in the salon space and you think that niche could be for you, but you need help pulling it together, get in touch. But yeah, like, you know what I mean? So focus on what your sweet spot is and build the business around that. It doesn't have to be fancier. It's just got to solve a problem. And so the things that I want you to think about are, what is the problem that I'm solving in the market? Or what is the problem that I know I can solve very easily in the market because it's work that I do very, very well and very, very easily? And then, am I solving that problem? And if you're not, then that's what you've got to start doing. So you've got to build a business around that. The next thing that you want to do is, once you're clear on the problem that you're solving, you need to think about, what is my big promise? What is the result that I can produce? And then you've got to think about, feel your way into that. Feel your way into thinking, oh, what is that promise that I can make? And one of the best promises I've ever made in my business as a business coach was when I launched my 5K formula for coaches. It was a private coaching package called the 5K formula for coaches. And it was create, launch, and sell your first $5,000 coaching package in 4 weeks or less. It was something like that. And that was my promise. My promise was for coaches that weren't making money. So the problem that I was solving was lack of cash flow and confusion, right? They were overwhelmed with ideas and indecision. And that was getting in the way of them figuring out what their sweet spot was, packaging it up, monetizing it, and selling it. And they were getting too complicated with how to make those first sales. So I simplified that process as well. And that program had an ROI of, my first client, or maybe she wasn't my first client, but one of the first clients that I worked with in that program, she sold five $5,000 coaching packages in that first 4 weeks. And then she went on to sell that for a long time afterwards. Another one sold 3 in the first 2 weeks. So it was a really strong formula. And I felt good about charging that price and making that 5K promise, because I knew I was charging at that time $5,000 to work with people one-on-one for that particular program. And I knew that I could get them to sell one program, and probably more than one program or coaching offer. And I knew that once they knew how to do that, they could do it for the rest of their lives. And so I thought 5K is a no-brainer price. And so I knew that I could make that promise, because I knew that I could get them to sell at least one $5,000 coaching offer working privately with me for 4 weeks. I just knew it. I'd been doing it for years in my bigger programs, because that first 4 weeks out of the gate has always been an important progress making time. You've got to make money really quickly. Otherwise, people lose faith, right? So return on investment, super important to me. You've got to make it important to you too, right? You've got to get that financial return on investment quickly. So you've got to know the problem you're solving, be very clear about that, solve one problem. Then you have to make a big promise. What is the result that you know you can deliver easily, time and time and time again, because it's just second nature to you, and don't make it fancier. And then the third thing that you need is a methodology. You need a method or a framework for delivering results. So it's easy enough to say, hey, I can help you double your revenue in the next 6 months, right? It's easy to say that. How are you going to do it? Tell me how you're going to do it. Because there is a lot of smoke and mirrors out there. There are a lot of lawsuits in action because coaches make these big promises on a hunch, but they don't actually have a framework for delivering it. And so this does two things. Having a method or a framework does two things. One, it protects you, right? You know that my clients are here. I'm taking them to here. These are the steps that we need to achieve to hit that result. And I know I'm doing my part, and it's up to the client to implement each of these steps fully and in a timely manner. And if they do that, they'll get the result, right? So it will protect you, because you basically, if somebody wants to, get a refund or see your ass or whatever, assuming you're doing your job, then you can go back and say, no, we have a framework. These were the steps that you needed to meet and you didn't. On month 2, you were supposed to be here and you didn't meet it. I was here. I did my job. I provided everything that I needed to provide, and you didn't do the work. So it will protect you, number one. Number 2 is it will give you and your client confidence that you can deliver that result. They want to see the how. They don't want to hear big promises and not know the nuts and bolts. Now, I know some of you will get a little bit freaked out about putting your method on a web page because people will pinch it and all the rest of it. That happens anyway. And I hate to break it to you, but you're probably not inventing anything new anyway. The steps towards success in your particular niche are going to be very, very similar. It's just the secret sauce that you bring and you as a coach that is going to make the difference, right? There's only one you, so you can't be freaked out about that. Share as much as you feel comfortable sharing as far as the framework. And I call it your client success pathway. You want that potential client to get online and look at the big promise. Well, first they go, oh my God, yes, that's my problem. Yes, yes, yes. This is the exact problem that I have, and this person might be able to solve it. So I'm going to keep reading. And then they're going to look at the big promise and they're going to be like, oh my God, that's exactly what I need. That's exactly what I want right now. And then they're going to be, yeah, but let me do a little bit more digging. And then they're going to get on your website or your web page and they're going to be, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, this is where I am. And it makes so much sense. Yes, I need to do this. And yes, that makes sense that would be the next step. And I know that if I do all of these things with the support of this particular coach, I know I'm going to get the result. That's what you want. And it's also going to give you confidence because you've sat down and you've mapped out in your mind how to deliver that result, right? You've mapped out that, okay, so what are the steps that I need to take them through? And if you've got that super, super clear, you're going to have a lot of confidence too, because you just need to coach them around those points. I am about to launch in February next year my Coach on Stage product, which is teaching coaches how to sell their high ticket offers from stage. And so yesterday I sat down, I always start like this with a blank, what's it called? Like an art one. So articulate. And I write down, I just brain dump everything. It's like, what are all the things that they need to know? And I'm like, okay, so the first step is this, the second step is this. And I play around with it until it's like, no, I think that's got to come first. And I develop that framework and that gives me my jumping off point so that when I go from here, I go to notes and I start with what's the product? What's the promise? What's the problem it's solving? Who is it for? And then I start to map out step 1, step 2, step 3, and I list out every, or it's not step 1, step 2, it's like stage 1, and then all the steps that need to be achieved to tick the box on stage 1. And I usually start something like a checklist. So I create a checklist, and I know that if they've ticked all of these things off the box, tick the boxes on all of these things, then I know that they're going to be successful, right? They're going to be successful. And yes, there are ups and downs, but it's our job to stay with our clients and hold that space for them and figure it out with them so that they get the result. So I know that when I write that sales page, I'm itching to write it actually, because it's just coming out of me so easily. I know that it's got all of the pieces that my potential clients are going to need and want. And so that's the thing that we need to have, right? We need to have this framework that we feel confident in. Before I launch any product, I want to know what journey am I taking them on? What are the milestones that we have to hit? So we're chunking it down. And I know the path that I have to take them on. And my work is going to be in the mentoring when they hit hurdles, when they have self-doubt, when they try something, pardon me, and it doesn't work out right, and they've got to try again, et cetera, right? And that's where we earn our money in, because if it wouldn't it be simple if we just put the strategy out there, which is what like that book does, right? And so many people, honestly, if you haven't got the book, go get the book. It's what is it called? Make Your First 6 Figures in 6 Months as a High Ticket Coach. Go to my name on Amazon, michellehext.com, Michelle Hext, and you'll see it there. Where was I going with that? The strategy. Like the strategy is everything. And I have completely lost my train of thought. So why do I do that? I get a little bit distracted and then I can't get my train of thought again. But you want that structure. You want to know that you have the method for producing that result. That's what I was going to say. So you can have the structure and the framework, and you can send a book out into the world. And some people, there is a percentage of the population who are going to just follow the book and they're going to have the success, right? But the majority are going to read it and they're going to be, that makes so much sense. And I'm going to implement, but I'm missing something, or I feel like I don't trust my decision. So I want somebody who's experienced and can help me with this, or I've hit a wall, or I tried that and it didn't work. And now I need to figure out how to tweak it. So all of that is where we earn our money, right? The strategy is one part, the framework is one part, but our experience and the way we coach and mentor is what brings the results in the end, right? So to summarize, if you're a business coach, there is an expectation that you are going to deliver a financial return on investment. Be specific about the problem that you're solving. Simplify so you can scale. Like simplify so you can deliver results. Simplify so you feel confident, right? All super important. So if you can do that, then you're going to have success. You're going to be able to build out products that feel good, that are very compelling because they're solving a specific market that your people can recognize and know they need help with. And then if you've got that method, the framework, whatever you want to call it, the client success pathway, if you've got that in place, then that's going to give your potential clients confidence that you're not just smoke and mirrors and you actually have the how. And that's missing with a lot of business coaches. Anyway, that is it for today's video. I think that's all I want to say about that, other than, of course, if you need help with this stuff, if you feel like what I say makes sense, if my style resonates with you, then get in touch, because I would love to have a conversation with you about joining one of my programs that's going to help you to take your coaching business to a whole other level. I have like a Rain Man strategic brain. I'm very strategic and I know how to think strategically, but I'm also it's frowned upon when we say we're good at things, right? But I'm going to own it. I'm an incredible mindset coach. And I think that comes back to, coaching myself around my mindset from a very young age when I grew up in domestic violence and sexual abuse and poverty and stuff like that. I coached myself to think about the future and just hang on until I got there. I was building a vision for my life until the day I left at 16. And then I became a taekwondo instructor. I own martial arts schools. And I was coaching humans how to get out of their own way and to be courageous, to set goals and to achieve goals. And I tell you what, it takes a special kind of individual. So shout out to my martial arts instructors out there. It takes a special kind of someone to be able to get somebody over their fear, to spar full contact, to enter a competition full contact and know there's a good chance they're going to lose or be hurt, and to grade for their black belt and beyond when they never thought it was possible. They never identified as being somebody who could achieve that level, that held black belt at on a pedestal and just thought it was completely unattainable. And in our grading system, red belt is the level before black belt. And a lot of people want to quit at red belt because suddenly at the pointy end, they know what's required of them and they don't believe that they can do it. And because they've built up this thing in their head. And so my ability to be able to coach humans to achieve those things and more, I can see fear. I can sense fear. I know I can read people like a book. And I think that reading people like a book also comes from growing up in violence, right? You have to be hyper vigilant and to know what's going on. You're able to read the room very, very intensely because it has consequences if you don't, right? Physical, dire consequences. And I'm sorry if this is triggering people, but I just want you to understand that coaches, the best coaches, have been through some stuff and they know how to coach human beings. So if you're a business coach, it's great to have the strategy. You need that. You need the strategy and all the things that we spoke about today, but you also need to know human nature. You need to know when people are struggling. You need to know when they're making excuses and they're full of shit. You need to know when they're up against their edge, and you need to recognize these things and you need to be able to mentor them through it. It's that simple. If you can do both of those things, then you're going to be very successful. And the people that you work with are going to be they're going to appreciate you so much because they're going to get so much more from you and from themselves than what they ever expected. The people that go through my mastermind, we do the strategy stuff and like that stuff's like breathing to me. It's very simple. It's very easy. And so is coaching the human these days. I can see so much and I'm able to tap into that and get the best out of my people like I was able to do with my taekwondo people. Anyway, I'm going off on a whole other topic right now on a whole other tangent. So I think I'm going to end it there. I don't know what the next topic is going to be, but it's probably going to be something around that. We'll see. I've got notes. I've been making notes on my walk about the different videos that, make the problem small. That's a good one. I might make that the next one. Yeah, I think that's a juicy topic. Stay tuned. All right, that's it. I'll see you later. Bye.